is the formula for happiness? What makes us happy? Can we even measure it? And if there is a formula, how can we use it to increase our happiness tenfold? We're going over that in this short video. So it's got 4 points in this formula. It starts with H equals S plus C plus V. Happiness equals, we're going to go over each of those 3 varying factors that go into what makes us happy. What's up, guys? Clark from ClarkKegley.com. I wanted to do a video that I've been meaning to do for literally 6 months, all right? It's been in my journal, outlined everything. It's really important, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it for some reason. So today I bit the bullet. I've sat down and said, no, we are doing this video right here, right now. Happiness is such an ambiguous word. If someone asks us, are we happy? You know, we'd be like, compared to what? On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are we? Like, what do you rank that scale on? How do you tell if you're happy? It's kind of black or white. It's either you are or you aren't, but there's always a piece of you that's like, I want more of it. I was reading also in Sapiens, the book, actually currently have right here, just conveniently. I was reading that all these innovations in technology, medical, life expectancy, all these things we've been innovating on the last couple hundred years as humans, if it's not to make us more happy, what is it even for? Isn't that the end goal of everything we're doing? With business, with money, with success, with all these ideas we're talking about, it's to figure things out so ultimately we will be happier. Isn't that the end goal? And so, are we happier today? Well, I don't necessarily have the answer to that. That's a whole other, apparently, book or books on that. But I got a formula I want to share with you of how I kind of think about happiness. Again, that I got from the happiness hypothesis. It'll help frame things and I think give you tools to actually manipulate your own happiness levels. The first letter, that S, stands for set point. You and I have a biological set point of our happiness. And this goes more scientific in the brain. You know, there's epinephrine, norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, all these neurotransmitters that go off that contribute to your happiness levels. You do have a certain amount of your happiness determined by your mom or dad. If your mom or dad had a series of depression, just like if they had heart disease, you're more likely to get it. If they had depression or anxiety, you're more likely to get that as well. So I promise this isn't a downer video, but that first component of happiness is a little outside your control. It's kind of like a thermostat, you know? If it gets too hot, the thermostat will naturally bring it down. And if it gets too cold, it'll naturally bring it up. That's kind of your set point right there. And it tends to stay in that thermostat Goldilocks zone. But what you can change are the next 2 things that I'm going to go after. Now, the problem is with a lot of, drugs or medications or things, depression even, people say, you are depressed, here's a pill, see you later. And they don't focus on these last 2 big components that arguably make up 60%, if not more, of the entire equation. So that's the set point. It is important to realize that some of it is genetically set, but the next 2 kind of combat that. The C in this is conditions. What are the conditions of your life? These tie in massively to what makes you happy. I mean, just think about it. Conditions are jobs, relationships, anything around you, really, the conditions you're living in, living conditions, those influence your happiness. We know this. Research has shown that if you're in an unhappy relationship or an unhappy job, you're going to be less happy than if you were in a healthy one or a better job. But why I like this is because these are things we can change. We have power to control these that directly increases our happiness. I love the bit by Jim Rohn. I was listening to him when I was back in... Talk about conditions, guys. I worked housekeeping in college for years, literally scrubbing toilets so I could just afford school. All my friends went on spring break trips and California during the summers, and I did that a few times, woofing on a farm for free, basically slave labor because, I couldn't afford California. But I scrubbed toilets day in and day out for like 8 hours a day, just scrubbing the same spot. And then you go to the next room as soon as you're done with that spot and it's the exact same room, just dirty. It made my mind go crazy. So what did I do? I put in motivational speakers into my headphones, my iPod, and I would just listen to Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, just all day, every day, scrubbing spots. And I associated enough joy to scrubbing spots that I actually enjoy cleaning to this day. It's kind of fun. The point of the story is that, those conditions sucked. I was scrubbing toilets with literally toothbrushes sometimes, and spots that made you want to go crazy in hot, unair-conditioned dorm rooms that are 70 feet high. Those conditions sucked, but I knew I could change it. And even if I couldn't directly change the job, I could do things to make it better and make myself happier. And one of the things Jim Rohn said is he's like, you don't like your job, change it. You don't like your relationship, change it. You don't like your body, change it. And I remember listening to that, just hearing change it, change it, change it. And it kind of snapped me out of it and said, I can change things. I don't have to get stuck in that spiral of thinking things are permanent and you can't change. Things are permanent. They're going to be this way forever. That's a trap. And if we get stuck there, we'll stay there. Get yourself out of that trap. Realize that you can change your conditions. You can change your relationship if you don't like it. You can make it better. You can find a new one. You can change your job. If you don't like it, you can make it better, like I did with audio, or you can find a new one. If you don't like your location, you can change it. All right? Focus on the things you can change, and don't get so bogged down by what you can't. And then the V. These are the voluntary conditions. So what we choose to do that directly ties into what makes us happy. You probably know a few of these off the top. Health. That's a huge one. How are we going to feel if we have Domino's pizza every night and we don't work out and we go to bed at like midnight and we get up at 6, not sleeping much, stressed out on the way to work? I mean, you know, don't kill that analogy. We're going to feel like shit. Flip that. How are we going to feel if we drink greens juice in the morning, get up at 7 after we went to bed at 10? We did some movement. We got 10,000 steps a day. You're going to feel happier. How do you feel when you walk out of an intense, sweaty, high-intensity interval training workout? Something that's got your heart pumping. You feel amazing. You feel unstoppable. That directly correlates with how happy you feel. The voluntary actions you do, what you choose to do, journaling. You choose to do journaling. You choose to do happy gratitude practices. You're going to feel better. That's all on you. That's voluntary right there. Reflecting on goals, seeing your accomplishments in front of you. That's what you choose to do. Choose to show up every day and read books that make you feel better. All right, you see the point here. We have a lot of things we can control. And these all tie back to what you choose to do. It also it comes down to what you choose not to do. So, you know, no judgment, right? We all have our vices. We all have things that we might want to change or we're not most proud of. But like alcohol or smoking, those are things you choose to do that directly detract from your overall happiness. Voluntary actions can also be expectations. And to end this video, I want to end with a quote. Tony Robbins says, it says that happiness comes from when you trade your expectations for appreciations. There's some of my spot scrubbing motivational talks for you, that happiness is when you trade everything you're expecting in life or from your partner or from your job or what you're here to get, and you trade it for what you appreciate, what you're here to give. And that when you go in with that mindset, the whole world can change. When you appreciate what's around you, and you get more of it, you attract more of it into your life. All right, so that's the simple formula right there. H equals S plus C plus V. Remember, focus on those last two to maximize your happiness level. Define it, get really clear on what's going to make you happy. And I look forward to really crushing 2017 with you. I'm so motivated. I'm so inspired. I'm so fired up about this year. I think it's going to be the best year of our lives. And I can't wait to have you on board with that. So if you're with me, feel free to join the community at mybestjournal.com. That's the ultimate guide to keeping a journal, where you can literally upgrade your happiness by keeping a journal and change your life. It's the number one thing I've done and thousands of people have done right now to coach themselves, hold themselves accountable, hold themselves to making themselves happy, change, impact, influence, everything we want. Mybestjournal.com. And then the 11 questions change your life. That's the free ebook workbook of 11 questions that you can ask yourself when you're driving to work or in your journal that will really make an impact and move the needle for you. All right, please give it a thumbs up. I love you. Until next time, guys, stop settling, start living. See you next time.